Hey, welcome to Everyday Jesus. My name is Doug Rouse, and I get to be the host of this little show where in a couple of minutes I give you a tip from God's Word to put some gas in your tank and fuel you up for the journey ahead. Today I want to tell you a little story from my childhood. When I was 10 years old, my mom and dad got me a dog for my birthday, and I named him Frisky. Now, Frisky was a mutt, and honestly, he was the worst dog known to mankind. Frisky never listened. Frisky never obeyed. Every chance he got, he would run out of the yard to the first mud puddle he could find and just get as dirty as he could get. In fact, my neighbor called Frisky a mud spaniel. He created a whole new species of dog just for that one because he was so bad and he was always so dirty. And you know, as a result of Frisky's bad behavior, he couldn't be trusted. And so Frisky lived in a very small world. He was always chained to something. If he wasn't inside, he was chained to something outside. Now, go up a number of years to now I become an adult, and my wife and I were newly married, and we had another dog. We had a dog named Yogi. Now, Yogi was a brilliant dog. I would say probably one of the smartest dogs that I've ever seen. Yogi actually was very obedient. He did everything that we asked him to do. We could trust him. Matter of fact, I hardly ever had to put a leash on Yogi. We had one, but he would literally walk right by my ankle and never move. He was the only dog I've ever seen who would look both ways before he crossed the street. You could throw a ball across the road and Yogi would run to the sidewalk, look both ways, and then run across the road to get the ball. Only dog I've ever seen do that. Now, these two dogs lived very different lives. Frisky did not experience any freedom whatsoever because Frisky couldn't be trusted, because he really had no respect for me as his master, and our relationship was really poor, actually. It was just I feed you, I keep you from dying, and that was about all that Frisky got. Yogi, on the other hand, was a part of the family. He could be trusted. He was a joy to have around. We could let him out the door. He'd come right back. No problem whatsoever. There was a level of trust there, and consequently, he enjoyed a great level of freedom. Now, that reminds me of an interesting story that we read about in the Bible. There was a time where some guys came to Jesus and they said, "Hey, Jesus, you tell us, what are the most important laws in the whole Bible?" And Jesus answered them this way. He said, "The two most important commandments are this: love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself." Jesus was brilliant. Jesus literally took all of the laws from the Bible and boiled them right down to these two: love God and love your neighbor as yourself. I love that, because you see, what that tells us is this: that Jesus desires to have this kind of relationship with you and me, where quite frankly, Jesus does not want to have a leash on you and me. He wants us to be friends. He wants us to be partners with him. So there has to be this level of trust. And Jesus says, look, I want us to have the kind of intimate friendship together where it really stops being about all of the rules, all of the things you can't do, and all of the things you have to do. Jesus is inviting you and me into a friendship where we enjoy him, we trust him, and he actually trusts us. And Jesus says, look, love God, love your neighbor. Those are the two. Keep your eyes on me, and let's enjoy this journey together. It's amazing. You know, you've heard me say it before. Jesus did not die on a cross to make you religious. He went through all of that pain and all of that suffering because he desires to have a right relationship with you and me. In the New Testament, the book of Galatians, it says that it was for freedom that Christ set us free. Jesus desires to set you free from all of those rules, and instead he introduces us into a relationship with himself. So it really comes down to this, my friends. What kind of relationship do you want to have with God? Do you want to have a relationship, or do you want to have a bunch of rules you got to follow? I'll tell you what, as far as it depends upon me, I'd rather have a relationship any day. It's such a joy to know Jesus as my big brother, and it's my prayer that you would know him in the same way too. Now remember something, friends. God's got this. You can trust him. He knows what he's doing. Keep your eyes on him, and he will never lead you wrong.